Grand rising, grand evening, whatever time it is for you. I have a very, very important message to share with the collective today. Now, yesterday marks the end of a major life cycle of mine, a 10-year cycle that came to karmic completion yesterday, permanently. I even marked it on my calendar. End of cycle. At the time of recording this video, it is April 21st, 2026. Now, as many of you who have watched my my content over on TikTok may have recognized and realized, I have not been posting any new content. I've been taking my sweet time moving the videos over from TikTok over to this platform, and that is because I have been in a cosmic womb of sorts. My guides have placed me in a state of gestation. I have been sitting in a place of liminality, sitting between dual potentials, between the polarities, and a lot has transpired there. A lot of purging, a lot of release, and connecting deeper and deeper to what always was, right? It's like I have been in this cosmic womb gestating because I have a deep inner knowing and understanding that my guides were preparing me for a fool's journey to take a leap over the edge into what always was. So I have recorded several videos that are specific here to YouTube recently, but I haven't been guided to share any of them. In fact, it's been the opposite. So I do have an archive, a little archive growing of videos that I will be posting here. So as this 10-year cycle came to completion, I had a revelatory moment today. There is a lot of clarity and information that I've gained. Not all of this information is information I've been guided to share, but when I received today's revelation and the message I'm going to be sharing with you all, I was simply going to record this video and archive it, wait until all of my past videos were uploaded here to YouTube to then share this video with the rest. But I was strongly guided to post this message today. And so what I'm going to be sharing with you in this video is significant to the collective of souls that are operating on a similar frequency as me and who may be in this cosmic womb, this space of liminality, kind of being cocooned and suspended by your guides, by the Most High God at this time. So, the message that I have for you today, I first want to start by saying that if you have been in this cosmic womb, in this liminal space, and have been feeling like you're stagnant, or you're not sure whether to step forward or step away, you're not sure whether you are being guided to, take action with the newfound clarity and information that you've gained, or sit more in a high priestess energy and just subjectively observe with this newfound information. If you resonate with being someone who's been in this gestational cosmic womb period, sitting in that space of liminality, I want you first to know that you cannot be early or late to your own becoming, because you're already there. There is no perfect time. You cannot, there is no way for you to be early or late to your becoming, to the unfolding of your experience, and to that birthing process after being in that gestational period, because you already are there. One moment. Bless you. Bless me. Bless us all. So, this revelatory moment, actually, this information came to me first through a very personal revelation. Now, while I've been in this cosmic womb, while I've been in this space of liminality, I have gained a lot of insight on in reference to my personal past and the experiences that I've had. I was able to figure out how familial trafficking works, and how specifically my family has carried this out. I was able to find the connections between this familial trafficking, the probate trust fraud. I was able to find the connection and tie between those whom I was trafficked by in Kansas and the family that familial trafficked me. I was able to find the link between the McNeelys and the Weavers, a link that is through marriage, and both of our families and their connections and workings together can be traced back to Indiana. I was able to find the connection between both of those familial ties and megachurch and the probate trust fraud and, my trafficking experience. I was able to find out a lot of information about my grandfather, the fact that he was a Sergeant Luther von Miller, was an E5 in the military, and I was able to find the links between his position and Freemasonry. I may have even found out who my womb bearer, my actual birth mother, is. And so I share that all to say, I asked for clarity. I asked to be shown both what is known and unknown, seen and unseen, so that I can surrender what needs to be surrendered, release what needs to be released, and carry what needs to be carried forward in this new cycle, right? And so I was granted and gifted by my guides with so much information. I was guided towards so much evidence and so much proof, and now I hold all of this understanding, right? All of this knowing. And so yesterday, as this cycle came to completion, this major cycle in my life, I found I had a very interesting spiritual anomaly, or spiritual something happened that was it's something that can't be ignored, and it was confirmation for me that I am exactly where I am meant to be, and that that past cycle has come to a completion. and that I am officially stepping into what always was, meaning who I have always been underneath the layers of those experiences. But today, I woke up and I said, okay, so now I have all this information. I have all of this evidence, all of this proof. I have all of this clarity. And I asked my guides, what am I to do with this information? What am I supposed to do with all of this knowing, with all of, with this revelatory, groundbreaking information? And, the message I received from my guides was, it was very, very activating and very comforting. And it was made very clear to me that I was not to hold or harbor this message, and that I needed to share it with you all today, right now. They told me nothing. I'm to do nothing with the information. This is the age of Aquarius. And so what my guides, what your guides really want us to recognize is the information, the knowing and the clarity is the gift. But the pressure, the desire to bring justice, to these transgressions and injustices, the weight and the pressure of that knowing, because a lot of you have had experiences, you're the survivors of crimes or of just unbelievable circumstances. And the very clear message I received from my guides is we are to take the information, but it is important that we recognize what is our responsibility in regards to that knowing, in regards to that information that we now have. The gift was the information, but you are not responsible. It is not the burden, the cross is not yours to bear in reference to the pressure and the weight of the secrets you've uncovered, in reference to bringing these transgressions, these crimes, and these injustices into balance, in reference to, cracking the code. That is an imbalanced energetic exchange. You have to ask yourself, are you in your life right now? Do you hold a position and a responsibility to bring these things to justice? Are you being compensated for that investigatory work? Have you taken a vow? Are you held in a position to bring these things into balance? Is the energy you are seeding into exposing or into investigating or into bringing things into justice, is that an energetic exchange that you are receiving back in any way, shape, or form? If the answer is no, then it's important that we recognize that we have a choice. There is a third option there. We are to take the information, the knowing and the knowledge that we have been gifted with by God, by our guides, that was the gift. Awareness is the gift. The truth that you were gifted is the gift, but it is not your responsibility to bring these things into balance. It is not your burden, the burden and the weight of the secrets of the crimes that were committed, of the blasphemous, inhumane things that were carried out. You are not responsible, nor is it your cross or your place to hold the weight, the pressure, the vitriol, the panic, the passion. You don't have to carry any of that. And in fact, none of that is yours to carry. The gift was simply the information. And so if you have been in this cosmic womb space and you're resonating with what I'm sharing here, and you're at a point in your journey where you have the information, you are sitting with the truth, you hold the knowing, and you see, if you feel so guided to, you can gently, with love, with grace, aligned with the cosmic unfolding of your experience and divine law and divine justice, ask that the burden, the drive, the passion, the pain, that fire to bring things into balance, to create justice, to investigate, to rectify, to nullify these things, be given back to the source, the payee, the conjurer, the creator of those things. You did not commit those crimes. So why then are you carrying the weight of it? Right? You're not being compensated nor do you hold a earthly position to bring these people to justice, this situation to justice, to rebalance the situation. So return that strong desire for justice, for karmic completion, for balance, for fairness, to be returned to those who are holding those positions, to those who the weight and the responsibility truly falls on, because that is not you. It is not your responsibility, nor are you currently sitting in a position or being energetically compensated, whether that's monetarily or otherwise, to bring these things into balance, to bring people to justice, to rectify situations. So you have the option to ask that all of that fiery passion you feel, all of that desire you feel for justice, for fairness, for balance, for truth to prevail, for things to be brought back into balance, for those who carried out those intentions to be seen, to take accountability, to face themselves, to see themselves, and you can return all of that to the rightful place. And that rightful place is not you, and it's not yours. The information, the knowledge, and the wisdom was the gift. You deserve peace. You deserve safety. And you deserve clarity, which is why clarity was gifted to you. But the pressure, the responsibility, the burden, and the cross, none of that belongs to you. That is not yours, for you did not build or construct it. The fruits of those things belong to those who planted the seeds, and to those who are currently in the position and bear the weight of the responsibility to rectify and create balance, justice, and fairness in these situations. Not you. You are meant to just be. To be free. To have a lightness of being while holding the knowledge and the knowing of exactly what transpired and how it transpired. The awareness and the information was the gift. And to truly have faith, to truly surrender and release what no longer serves you and what is out of alignment with who you are and what you're here to do, it is important that we can separate and recognize the information, the knowing, and the knowledge from the burden and the responsibility and the weight of that knowledge that was gifted to you. It is not yours to carry. The gift was the knowledge and the wisdom. And you have the opportunity, the right, and the choice to surrender everything else back into the ethers, to be returned to those whom truly created it, who that cross belongs to, that weight, that density, the burden of it, the secrets, the lies, the envy, the jealousy, the greed. You may have been affected by it, but none of those things are of your creation. And so, surrender them. Release it. It's not yours to carry. And it is in a spiritual injustice for you to carry these things that do not belong to you. They're out of alignment with your intention, with the presence you've had here on this planet, and even in those situations. It is out of alignment with the truth. If you are carrying and holding on to and taking responsibility to bring things into balance that you yourself did not imbalance, that in itself is creating imbalance. The main message I received from my guides is that release, surrender anything that is not your own creation, because that is a way that we on these journeys of ascension, on these journeys into remembrance, into connection of self and who we are at our core level, that is a block that we then create for ourselves. And it's very subconscious, it is human nature and perfectly understandable to want justice for yourself, to want these things to be seen, to want things to come back into balance, for things to be fair, for things to be moral. But the responsibility, the weight of the responsibility in that want shouldn't be yours to carry out and shouldn't be yours to carry. We are harboring as a collective so many things that do not belong to us. And the weight of the responsibility of the secrets, the lies, the injustices, and the crimes that you have uncovered, that awareness that has been gifted to you, the things that have been unveiled for you, the energy encapsulated within those things is not yours. It does not belong to you, and it is not your responsibility to do anything with it. It is simply the information and the knowledge that was the gift. And so we are now met as we step out, as we are ending our gestational period in this cosmic womb, in this space of liminality between potentials. You know, you have a choice, and this truly is where your power lies. To truly, wholly, and with unshakable and unwavering faith, surrender everything that is out of alignment with you, with your truth, with your essence, with what you were called here to do, with the things that you're guided to carry out. To surrender the weight, the density, and the distortion that carrying things that are not of your creation creates in your now moments and in the things that you manifest into your experience. If we are to see things in their natural state, in the state of truth, and carrying that frequency and holding that frequency, well, it's important that we surrender and release the distortion of energies that you are not the source of, that were not cultivated within you. You did not plant those seeds. So why then are you going to carry them into your new garden, into your sacred space? Why then are you going to carry seeds that you didn't purchase? You didn't put any energetic investment or stock into those seeds. It's important that we do not allow ourselves to be Trojan horsed in the year of the fire horse. No Trojan horses. No. If you are carrying seeds, frequencies, weight, and density that you yourself did not cultivate, it is time to surrender and release them. Accountability and responsibility is very important. But for those I'm talking to who resonate with this part of the journey and who resonate with my frequency, you are someone who has already taken full ownership and accountability of yourself. You are a sovereign and self-governing being. You've taken full ownership and responsibility of the things you allowed into your experience for those transgressions and those things to be carried out. You've taken responsibility for the codependency, for the self-abandonment, for the self-betrayals, for not trusting yourself and not loving yourself, not seeing your own value and worth, for feeling that, for trying to take ownership and responsibility of other people's experiences, thinking that you could fix, or being that perpetual doormat. We've taken full responsibility for our shadows, and we've integrated them. And so those shadows, those subconscious drivers, no longer drive our experience. We drive our experiences. When you integrate those shadows, then the conscious expression of them is very different. It's very mindful. It's very much rooted in awareness and clarity. So anything that is out of alignment, anything that you yourself did not cultivate, that you're holding in your energetic body, that you're holding in your emotional body, any seeds that you didn't buy, you didn't purchase, you didn't plant, it's time for us to return them back to the earth so that those roots and that fruit can extend and be returned back to those who planted them. It is time for you to be free. It is time for you to leap headfirst into what always was. It is time. It's just time. You're so very deserving of happiness, of peace, of embodying and holding your frequency without distortion, without obstruction, to exist and exude that lightness of being. And a lightness of being happens and occurs and is embodied when we release the density, the dirt and the debris that have been shoveled over and upon you that aren't yours. Anyways, I do hope that this message finds who it is meant to find exactly when it is meant to find you. As I stated before, I am ending my gestational period. I am coming out of that cosmic womb. I have some beautiful lapis lazuli right here. I've been connecting very deeply with my ancestral roots, my Egyptian ancestral roots, and I have just lately been very deeply connected with that specific, the energies and the benevolent forces who walk with me in love, light, truth, fairness, balance, justice, and clarity from that Egyptian ancestry. And I was guided to get lapis lazuli and get rid of the other piece of lapis lazuli I had because it was given to me by a deeply wounded individual. So I needed to get rid of it and get my own. And this is the one that I got. I really like that it's a cube-like lapis lazuli because it reminds me of Metatron, which is another energy that has been guiding me and gestating me while I've been in this cosmic womb. But that's the message. And I do hope that it helps, because I had such a strong push to share it. You know, I recorded several videos since being in my new space, in this new place, and in this new cycle of mine, but I wasn't guided to share any of those. But when I had this revelation today with my guides, they were like, no, you cannot wait. Speak. Go share. I know. I like to think Metatron's voice is very like, I think when I was between sleeping and waking one time, and that's a whole nother crazy thing that occurred. I guess I can, so to summarize that experience, during my time in this cosmic womb, there was a day that I woke up and I was in that little liminal space between sleeping and waking, and I heard a number. And it was in a very like the best way I can like explain the voice is it was very it was intense. It almost had like an auctioneer feel to it. It was very like, or like very diplomatic, very like almost like cold, you know? But I heard this number, and so in this voice, almost like an like AI type voice. It was very interesting. But I looked up the number, and I just Googled the number. It was like a number and a letter, and a moonstone ring, not the same exact one, but one cut very much like this. The ring that popped up was basically this ring without the branches. It popped up on Google, and I was like, that's interesting, because this ring that I wear is actually a ring I purchased for myself in 2020, when I made a agreement with myself that I was going to remain here. I was in a very, very abusive dynamic, and I had someone, you know, screaming in my face telling me to unalive myself daily. It was you know, someone who was abusing alcohol very heavily, punching holes next to my head, trapping me inside of rooms. Basically, I was at a really low point in my experience, and I was struggling with thoughts of exiting this experience. And so this is a ring I bought myself during that time, and I feel like it was very much, even, you know, in my darkest moments, I've always been protected and guided. But I brought this for myself to make a soul contract and commitment with myself that was no longer an option, that self-exiting was no longer an option for me, and that I was going to be curious about my experience. And for the first time in my life, I was like, that's not an option. And so that is what this ring signifies. But yeah, I am definitely way off of the topic of this video. But yeah, I do hope this video finds who it is meant to find. I am sending you guys so much love to the universe and beyond. I look forward to sharing the new information and content that I've recorded for you guys. I am also working on an art piece that I've been slowly working on throughout this entire gestational period of being in this cosmic womb, and it is called Light Codes. So it's coming out very interesting. There's a lot of symbolism and synchronicity within it. Let me just look at my notes just to make sure there's nothing else, because you guys won't be seeing any like current updated videos from me until all of my TikTok videos are uploaded to the channel. That is when I will start sharing new content. But so let me make sure there's just nothing else that I want to leave with you guys. Let's see. I should have on the second page. Here it is. So this is something that you can say out loud. Use the element of air, your voice, and say to your guides, if this video does resonate with you and this feels like a revelation that is synchronistic and resonant to your current experience. You can say, I release the burden of carrying what is not mine to resolve. And I trust that justice, fairness, restoration, and truth are being handled in ways both seen and unseen, known and unknown, but soon to be shown. So feel free to use that. That's from one of my own personal invocations. I write a lot, as you can see. But that's what I have for you all. I am sending you guys so much love to the universe and beyond, and I do hope that this message finds who it is meant to find exactly when it is meant to find you. Bye.